just
the
coping
board
with
ready?
on retiring
Is
right now. So
the board
it's
ready?
good. Yeah.
Hi, Ellie. We are ready for the countdown.
Okay, all right. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is August 11th, 2026, our regular session. Would everyone please stand and join us for the flag salute? Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome back. I hope everyone had a great summer. We'll report out on closed session. Information was exchanged, no action was taken.
Action was taken.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
That just is automatic, yes. This is pursuant to existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9D1. And the board voted 4-0 to deny the claim. Okay, and now we'll move on to public comments for items not on the agenda. Any public comments for items not listed on today's agenda?
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you. Alrighty, welcome back, board. My name and community. My name is Jay Hotchner. I'm a teacher at Carpinteria Middle School, a parent of a previous and current student, previous and current students, and a community member. I also serve in the role of cause president, the primary elected employee representative in CUSD. And this evening, as usual, I'll be sharing public comments in that role. Therefore, I will again ask that both the minutes and your perceptions of what is shared reflect that detail. The public comments I share are not simply my personal opinions, but rather the insights, experiences, questions, and concerns of the majority of district employees who have elected myself and our leadership to share. Thank you for taking that into consideration. These public comments and the decisions you make are supposed to reflect the culmination of a decision-making process informed by robust research, rigorous analysis, comprehensive input, and transparent public discussion. These decisions require all of us, and especially our school board members, to be 100% engaged. Each of you committed to that when you sought and in some cases even displaced other community members who had committed to these influential positions you now hold. Recently, the union conducted an analysis of school board meeting attendance and decision-making over the last 9 months. Under examination, we found some concerning patterns. For example, during this period, the 9-month period, which includes the entire period since the board voted to slash the number of regularly scheduled board meetings to just a single meeting per month, board member attendance and decision-making has been far less than robust. Although Mr. Smith's attendance record has been strong, thank you, sir, his board colleagues have not shared the same record. Ms. Alcaraz, the board member least familiar with district affairs, has already missed 25% of the regularly scheduled meetings since she was gifted the position last autumn. However, she has shown no reluctance to weigh in on matters she clearly knows little about, with all respect, as if on cue, supporting every decision that Mr. Schaefer and her board colleagues have made. Both Ms. Diamond and Mr. Bridgeford have not veered from consensus decision-making either, and each has missed 38% of the meetings since October 2025, and now we can count one more for Ms. Diamond. Mr. Schaefer, the philosophical leader of the board, has also missed 38% of the meetings in the last 9 months and appears distracted today. Yet somehow, while prohibited from discussing district matters as a group, unless they are at meetings like these, our board has agreed 100% on every agenda item and action in that same period, without a single dissenting vote in the 9-month period we analyzed. In summary, our board officials' attendance record and voting record is demonstrated by the quality of your attendance. Inquiry, examination, and decision-making leaves much to be desired, and it does not seem to appear focused on the very students and families and neighborhoods our board members are supposed to reflect and represent, which currently does not look like it does. Our community and district and students and families deserve better. Thank you.
For your comments. Any other public comment for items not on the agenda? I would just like to thank Eric and Jeanette for running for school board again, and they both are unopposed, as am I, which I think is a testament to the community's confidence in what we're doing up here. So thank you very much. We'll move on to the approval of minutes of our June 9th and June 16th meeting. If there are any comments, please step up to the podium.
Alrighty, thank you. Once again, CUSD's sanitized and heavily curated board meeting minutes fail to include much of what was addressed at the last few board meetings. For example, although detailed public comment was made, the minutes characterize CUSD's dramatic decline in student enrollment with the following statement. Ms. Rigby, quote, says, provided an update on projected 26-27 enrollment. No further details were provided, especially not anything confirming that student enrollment has declined in 9 of the last 10 years under the supervision of Ms. Rigby and our current district officials. More specifically, under Superintendent Rigby's direction, CUSD has lost over 400 students. All the while, the number of families with kids in Carpinteria has increased over the same period. The minutes of June 9th and 16th fail to include public comments regarding board member attendance and decision-making similar to those shared at the outset of this meeting. The minutes also fail to include public comments notifying the community of the district's most recent legal defeat before the state's Public Employment Relations Board, this time case number LACE 6743E. The state made it very clear that Ms. Rigby and other named district administrators once again undermined the rights and influence of district employees in the decision-making process by unlawfully retaliating and discriminating against elected union leadership. The district's minutes of June 9th and June 16th also fail to include public comments clarifying that these legal actions are not just an intellectual exercise. These legal matters also have an enormous financial impact on the district, its resources, students, and ability to deliver consistent programs to the families we serve. Nor do the minutes mention the PERB case is just one more example of a series of unlawful behaviors as cited by a variety of judicial bodies and courts that has cost the USD approximately $5 million over the last 3.5 years. A sum that could have transformed the district's ability to serve students and families. The district's curated version of July 9th and 14th minutes was required to notify the public of the recent 4% pay raise. District administrators and confidential staff provided themselves. However, it failed to mention that no similar offer was made to the rest of CUSD's employees. It also failed to mention misleading comments by Ms. Diamond, who incorrectly told the public that CUSD had not had an opportunity to clarify what a compensation increase would look like, when in fact the bargaining partners met in June and absolutely no mention of any offer was made. No mention. And neither formally or informally was any discussion provided by the district on an offer for employees. So let the minutes of the June 9th and June 16th board meetings better represent the finer details of our district's official decisions, which appear like deception and virtue signaling, to be honest, so that our community may better understand the CUSD's unwillingness and inability to properly invest our tax dollars on behalf of district students,
Thank you,
employees, and their families. Thank you.
Again, I would just like to thank our board members for stepping up and having the confidence of the community that no one is so dissatisfied with our tenure that they want to change. So thank you. We will move on to the agenda and consent agenda. And before I take comment, I
You have
would.
to approve the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the June 9th and June 16th meetings?
I'll move to approve minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, and then we had a late addition for the consent agenda, for a renewal of a contract with Surf Happens. So we're being asked to, this is going to be added to the consent agenda. Board is asked to approve the renewal of an MOU between the district and Surf Happens for an after-school surf program at the middle school designed to build passion, confidence in middle school youth while developing connection to the self and natural world. The cost of the program is $50,320 and will be paid for with ELOP after-school funds. So that will be in the consent agenda as well. Any comment on the consent agenda or agenda?
Oh, no, go ahead. Thanks.
Hello,
Peter?
Superintendent Rigby, board. Thanks for having us here. I just wanted to come and pay my respects to the board and just speak to the power of the PUSH project and our continued collaborative effort to give these kids something meaningful to do. As we enter the 5th year of this programming, it seems like just yesterday we met for coffee to talk about what this could look like. We're really starting to see the fruits of this labor blossoming in the community in some really cool ways. And I'll just speak to one thing that I've experienced this summer. So we're also in an MOU with the city. This is our 8th and final week of programming at the skate park. It's a 9 to 1:30 skate camp that goes 5 days a week. We do 8 weeks of it. It's been super successful. And one of the ways we provide community service hours to the high school students towards their graduation credits is by allowing them to work the camps. And a student who recently graduated from the middle school was in the PUSH project for 3 years. By some accounts, you could say he had a challenging run at the middle school, but we saw tremendous growth in him, and he expressed interest in volunteering at the summer camps. This kid showed up in all of the most amazing ways and just became the most tender, caring, affirming, supportive. All these little kids just look up to him, and he's turned into a really amazing role model. And it's come with hard work at the PUSH project and at the middle school, but I think that collaborative effort is what has allowed him to step into this leadership role this summer. Not only has he completely completed his community service hours for graduation in the summer before his freshman year, but he has come out with so much confidence and just a real passion and fire to work with younger people, and it's just really cool to see. We're seeing these kids now in high school coming back to serve as the mentors in this program to the younger kids, and that was the idea, the self-fulfilling prophecy. These kids are going to keep coming back and serving the community. So it's been very cool. Continues to be really fun. Last semester we had 35 kids enrolled for the 14 spots. The semester before that we had 45 kids. We take them all. We don't turn kids away. We make it work. And things like Surf Happens support that. They take some kids off our hands on Wednesdays so that other kids can fill in, and we're just making it work, but really we want to try to serve the community on that level, and you all play such a huge role in that, and we would not be here today without your efforts. So much love and appreciation and gratitude for you all, and looking forward to another great year with these kids.
Great.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for your dedication, Peter.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Peter.
Any other public comment for items on the agenda or consent agenda?
All right, thank you. Elected employee leadership supports consent agenda items 1, 4, 6, and 7, the PUSH project being 1. Thank you, Peter. Beyond those items, we share concerns pertaining to items 3, hiring sped contractors, and 9, changes to the district's conflict of interest positions list. Neither of these have been brought before the public and examined in a meaningful way for years. The district this is not new for the district. It is clearly designed to avoid accountability for these and previous arbitrary decisions that have led to these agenda items being required. There is no doubt this practice is a Brown Act violation, and it is further restricting the participation of community members who attempt to monitor the governance of the district. As for items 11 and 12, there is no missing. The district officials have once again, for years straight now, concealed the salary totals for district administrators by hiding them in the regular payroll totals. For years, employees have consistently asked CUSD to transparently share the data behind regular payroll totals, but instead, while consistently reducing the investments in those who work directly with students and families and giving themselves salary increases that far exceed those of school site employees, district officials continue to hide administrative payroll costs. We thank those who recently sought data after union leadership shared similar comments in June. For those who doubt the accuracy of these public comments, just examine the district's most recent audit, which confirms CUSD failed to invest even the minimum portion of its budget on teacher and support staff salaries. In the last 2 years, in clear violation of Ed Code, CUSD underinvested approximately $6 million in the salaries of those who work directly with district students. Not coincidentally, that's about the same amount the district officials spent defending unlawful attacks on elected employee leaders. There are no similar violations, underinvestments, or shortages when it comes to CUSD's administrative costs. In fact, the district's SARC data recently confirmed that CUSD's administrators are paid well above the state average, while teachers and support staff are paid well below. The payroll totals in items 11 and 12 are used to hide administrative payroll costs, while CUSD's recent budget actuals verify that investments in employees working directly with students continue to decrease for the 6th straight year. And while administrative and legal costs continue to balloon by approximately 700% under Superintendent Rigby, our board officials somewhat complacently nod their heads, unwilling to examine the details in public. Unfortunately, it appears that is as long as those very details and political agendas, yours, are being satisfied with these public tax dollars. If you too would like to review the data, please contact cause at cause.cusd@gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay. No more public comment for items not on the agenda. Can I get a motion?
Consent agenda?
I'm sorry, the consent and the consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I will second.
Okay, any discussion? The roll call?
Andy,
Aye.
Jeanette,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
and I am I.
All right, thank you. Okay, we will move on to E, public interest reports, presentations. Any public comment on E, public interest reports and presentations? Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Tonight, I'm going to read our welcome back letter that we sent to our families to welcome them back to the 26-27 school year. Welcome to the 26-27 school year. We are thrilled to welcome our students back to campus on Thursday, August 20th. This upcoming year holds immense promise for learning, achievement, and community connection. At the Carpinteria Unified School District, we remain deeply committed to nurturing safe, positive, and engaging classrooms where every student can grow academically, socially, and emotionally. Our dedicated teams work diligently over the summer to revitalize facilities, update instructional tools, and implement safety protocols. Below is an overview of the key updates and enhancements as we prepare for another successful school year. We begin with campus safety and student well-being. The safety and well-being of our students and staff remain our highest district priorities. We continue to enforce comprehensive safety measures across all sites. Secure perimeters. All elementary and middle school campuses maintain secure, single-entry perimeters through the main office. Visitors must check in immediately upon arrival. High school security. Visitors to Carpinteria High School must check in at the front office. 3 dedicated security personnel continuously monitor campus access points. Emergency preparedness. CUSD utilizes the K-12 Standard Response Protocol for emergency responses. Detailed school site safety plans are accessible for review on the CUSD website at www.cusd.net. Student privacy. Personal or identifying employee and student data will not be released without an effective warrant or a judge-signed court order. Mental health resources. School counselors and family service agency therapists are available at all sites to support students and families. And community resources. We proudly partner with the Carpinteria Children's Project Family Resource Center to deliver vital family support services. To learn more, visit carpchildren.org or call 805-566-1600. Our next item was facility and infrastructure upgrades. Summer maintenance initiatives focused on providing clean, modernized, and highly functional spaces for our learning communities. Deep cleaning and landscaping. Classrooms, offices, and restrooms were thoroughly deep cleaned, school grounds refreshed, and mature trees safely trimmed. Gym floors were fully restored, building fixtures repaired, and the Summerlin Field successfully reseeded. A brand-new operational bell system was installed at Carpinteria Middle School, and curriculum materials and instructional technologies were updated district-wide to ensure top-tier classroom support. Playground assessments. Playgrounds at Aliso and Catalino schools were comprehensively evaluated and scheduled for future replacement to ensure optimal student safety. Next, we welcome our new educators. We're delighted to expand our academic team and warmly welcome the following new educators to Carpinteria Unified. At Aliso School, Liz Camo and Lucy Light are newly hired. At Catalino School, we welcome Laura Zizimbo, Maribel Rubalcava, and Yasmin Briones. At Carpinteria Middle School, we welcome Todd Fox, Juliana Cooper, and Claudia Castaneda. At the high school, our new teachers are Ryan Ethington, John Stafford, and Crystal Carbajal. And then we hired a new elementary music teacher, Cooper Isis. Staying connected and involved. Open and ongoing communication between home and school is essential to student success. Parent Square is our platform that remains our primary channel for real-time district and site updates. We ask parents to look out for specific class assignments, schedules, and orientation schedules from their school principals. We also strongly encourage families to participate in upcoming school events, advisory committees, and campus volunteer opportunities. And lastly, we'd like to remind everyone about traffic and pedestrian safety. Next week, with the return of regular school routines, traffic volumes around our campuses will increase. So we ask everyone in the community to please drive with heightened caution, watch for designated school crosswalks, and please remain mindful of student cyclists, students on e-bikes, and pedestrians to keep our community safe. And we thank our parents and families for their continued partnership, trust, and shared commitment to educational excellence. We look forward to another great school year filled with discovery, growth, and achievement. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Diana. It's a great welcome back.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to item 2 and a presentation about the CHIP program at the high school, a classroom-hosted internship partnership. Exciting to hear about this.
With Principal Corneo.
Mr. Cornejo.
Yeah, and our engineering teacher, Mr. Miller, and our assistant principal, Jeremiah Sabanis.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Today, I'm very proud to be here to showcase some promotional videos that we have not produced ourselves, but other organizations have produced for us because of they want to showcase what our great engineering program is doing under the leadership of Mr. Miller. I want to personally thank Mr. Miller for being very willing to take on a lot of the projects. And I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of coordination, but I think he agrees with me that the rewards that our students are getting outweigh a lot of the things that we have to do. But thank you very much for everything you do. And I also thank Mr. Zabenis for working with our partners in education and our outside partners for a lot of the things related to coordination of the projects that we're doing. One of the first programs I'm going to speak to you about is CHIP program, which is a lot of times I've come before the board asking or telling you about the idea of having students have the opportunity to have internships before they graduate. But as we explored that possibility, we realized that it's, for a lot of businesses, it's very expensive to dedicate an employee to support a high school student while they're also doing their own job at the industry that they're coming from. So working with Ben Warner from the Chamber of Commerce and working with the South Coast Chamber of Commerce, we came up with a new concept which is called Classroom Hosted Industry Partnership. And the idea, I'm not going to tell you much about it because I would like for Mr. Miller to tell you how it works. And then once he tells you a little bit about what the project looks like, I'm going to showcase the video that was produced by the Chamber of Commerce to promote this and recruit additional community members who can serve as mentors for our students. Ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Hello,
Superintendent. Nice to see you guys. I am unretiring officially, I guess, right now from 2 months in the wilderness somewhere in my van. So a little bit about the CHIP program, just so you have some background. Mr. Cornejo gave you a little bit about it, that we're really trying to create a pipeline for students and for employers here. Now, one of the big issues is that there are many industries in our area that people just don't know about, especially local people. For example, semiconductor manufacturing. There are over 40 local companies doing semiconductor manufacturing. And when I ask people, like, so how are semiconductors made? How are computer chips made? Most people have no clue. And that's a real shame, because those are, generally speaking, amazing jobs. Well-paying local jobs that can, keep people here. So that's a little bit about the business background. We all know that internship programs can be hard both for the businesses and for students, especially our students. Logistics can get in the way. They can't necessarily get themselves up to Goleta every day, or even to Santa Barbara very easily. So the idea is, in my classroom, I have lots of capabilities. You guys have seen it. You've been there. Is to sort of host a pre-internship program in my class. This is with my advanced and internship students, generally speaking, juniors and seniors, sometimes sophomores as well. And what happens is we have industry mentors, local businesses, come in and propose a project for my students. And it's not just a random project, it's something that these businesses might be actually struggling with. For example, CMC Rescue out of Goleta, they make rescue equipment, asked my students to create a new type of buckle for one of their rescue harnesses. Another company, Pseudolithic, which makes semiconductors locally, along with the UCSB NanoFab, which makes computer chips as well through UCSB, they came to us and asked our students, or my students, to create a novel or a package to test a computer chip. Now, a package is what encloses all of the fancy electronics. And so that was what one of the student teams had to do, or several of the student teams have to do. So the idea is, instead of me making up projects for the students, instead have local businesses come, create the projects, and have students work on them over the course of 1 to 2 months. At the very end of the project cycle, after many Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, problem solving, the students presented their projects at sort of an exhibition night, which was pretty cool to see. So that's kind of the general flow. There are lots of other details in there, but the idea is to bring businesses into my classroom, have the students get a little taste of what it's like to work for some other boss other than me, and to just dip their toes into the world of what it's like to do real work.
It's great. Great. So you have a video to show?
Yes, so we are now we have 2 videos. We're going to show you the video regarding the classroom hosted. Yes.
The overall goal of the CHIP program is to develop the classroom to workplace pipeline. First of all, I think it's fun to get involved with local students and seeing what they're up to. And the benefit is that you can have a potential pipeline of students who are interested in your company, maybe interns in the future, potentially employees.
It's basically where companies from Goleta, Santa Barbara area come in and give us projects to work inside our classroom, and they supervise it and they give us instructions on how to maybe make our project better or just guide us through our project.
The motivation for the CHIP program is that we can connect mentors with students around meaningful projects with a limited availability of mentor time, which is not the case for a classical internship, which requires a lot of mentor time. In CHIP, we leverage the availability of the teacher to provide most of the mentorship.
Instead of doing projects that I'm kind of making up and building in terms of my curriculum, why don't we ask local companies to bring in their project ideas? Most of them are real projects too, things that they actually need to have happen. And why don't they challenge the students to work on those projects? And so what this program does is it creates sort of like a pre-internship experience for students, where they get a project or a challenge from an outside company. They work on it for a month or two. They work with mentors from those companies, and then they produce a product.
Each week, I have to go on a Zoom meeting with them and give an updated progress report where they give their feedback and I give my feedback and ideas. And it was really useful and very helpful. And I don't know if I would have been able to even get close to finishing this project without them.
One of the things we often don't do in normal school, you aren't taught how to work through a blank page problem. But real world engineering is, we don't know how to solve this thing. Here's a blank slate. How do you tackle that unknown? No one's laying it out for you. And so we walked up to the whiteboard, like, let's just sketch out quick and dirty here. What's one way you can think about it? And we tend to latch onto that first one. It's like, nope, step back. Now think of another way, even a stupid way, just try it. And then we all step back and we start doing an analysis, say, what are the pros and cons of each of these things?
The sooner you can bring students to relevant work experience, the more likely they are to take advantage of education and career opportunities down the road.
So it's an investment in the community. So you invest in this kind of program. It gives you a group of high school students that are interested, and at some point when they get the education required, either at high school or at college level, they'll come back to you. So it's a long-term investment of mentorship.
There just isn't a strong pipeline continuing into high tech in Santa Barbara, Goleta, San Luis Obispo, or Ventura. But the local population oftentimes is the last to know that those companies are there, that those jobs exist, and even if they do exist, how do they get those jobs?
Before I entered this program, I wasn't interested in engineering actually. I was more interested in math, but once I started using the machines in the shop, I got really into it, and yeah, I turned out to really like just working with my hands.
If you're curious about mentorship and you like what you do as a technical person, the CHIP program is a great way to really put those together. And a typical engagement or commitment for a mentor is an hour a week to an hour every 2 weeks.
We want to provide our students with the skills and the opportunities for them to stay in our community.
Our dream is to make sure that local people, local kids, can develop the skills they need to then work at local companies.
So this video is on the South Coast Chamber of Commerce website. The idea is to expand it to agriculture or other pathways in agriculture, culinary, and in the future robotics. But again, I really want to thank Mr. Miller for being the pioneer. The success of this program would not have been possible if he was not on board. And I know he does everything what is best for our students. So again, thank you very much for everything you do. Now the next video has to do with the Central Coast K-16 Regional Collaborative, and it has to do with 6 counties. So we are Ventura, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, Monterey, San Benito, and Santa Cruz. And this grant is overseen by UC Santa Cruz, and it's made up of local school districts, County Office of Education, community college and universities, including Cal Poly and UCSB. And it's focused on engineering, manufacturing, computer science, and healthcare. And we happen to have manufacturing and engineering. But one of the things that they're also doing, they recognize that a lot of times, because one of the things that they would like to see is an increase of dual enrollment classes for high school students. And one of the reasons that a lot of high schools are unable to offer dual enrollment classes is because you must have a master's degree in that specific area, such as English or math or whatever, or Spanish for that matter. So what they are doing, they're actually paying for teachers to earn their master's degree without ever having to set foot at Channel Islands. It's all virtual. They started this summer. So we have 2 teachers that are getting their master's degree in math, and we have 1 teacher that's getting their English master's degree, and they will be done in 2 years. It's costing them literally about $1,000 a semester, or a year actually, to complete this. So it's basically costing them $2,000 to get a master's degree, so they're able to teach dual enrollment classes, and in the future they can actually teach at a community college if they choose to do so. So that in itself, the K-16 collaborative has been supporting. I think there's about 40 teachers in the 6 counties, and we happen to have 3 of them. We have the most teachers that are getting support for that master's degree. So again, it's a total of almost 300 miles of that this collaborative covers, but it also covers 530,000 students. So it's not something that is just for high schools, but it's how do we support our pathways, specifically engineering, manufacturing here in Carpinteria, and how do we expose our students to that industry? So one of the things that we have done, and before I continue, this is the focus of the K-16 initiative, is increasing dual enrollment, paid internships, and this year we placed 4 students into summer paid internships that Mr. Sobenes was able to work with our partners in ed, and I will invite him here in a minute to tell you what internships those were. But it also has to do with if students are unable to get to City College for a dual enrollment class, they will pay for this transportation. If they're unable to take a test at a specific industry standard test, and they're unable to take the test because it's in LA, they will pay for that transportation. They will also do boot camps in the summer for our students, and some of those Mr. Sobenes has been involved at City College, and also increasing parent nights and academic support for our students in order for them to qualify for them to meet the A through G and UC eligibility. So I'm going to show you the video, and then afterwards we'll ask you any questions. We can answer any questions. And before we play it, the videos focus. Every year we bring all of the 5th graders up to Carpinteria High School, and Mr. Miller's students, Mr. Cadente's robotics students, and our ag students. They all work together. They become mentors for the 5th graders. They're there for an entire day. And then we also have 30 students from the middle school. I want to thank Dr. Pursoon for supporting this, and I know the staff is very supportive of this. The fact of the matter that we have students at 8th grade taking or experiencing our pathways is very important. We've actually increased the number of students in our engineering program. The students are no longer just all boys in engineering. We have a significant, I think 30% of our students in engineering are girls, and it's the idea that if they experience it early, they take away that I don't know what it's all about. So you're going to hear something here from our students from 5th grade all the way through college. So the idea is to see how this collaborative has impacted our students from the elementary school all the way through college.
As a kid, I was really big into Legos. That was definitely where it all started.
I like making things with my hands. And then they have a metal cutter, which that was really cool.
I talked to the counselors at the high school, and they said that I'm in the intro engineering class next year.
The general flow is this. 8th grade students, they end up with me about 1/3 of the year. In those 10 weeks, we go through, what is an engineer? We go through drawing, we go through basic CAD, 3D printing, and then some electronics. The whole point of that 8th grade class is to get them interested and curious about engineering. It's supposed to be fun. Why doesn't it work? What is it missing?
Wheels.
But why?
Oh, traction.
Okay, how do we?
When we developed this program and we decided to bring the 5th graders, and then we said, okay, now let's bring the 8th graders. And the 8th graders come up to the high school, and then they become our 9th graders for 4 years. Then, when they come up to the high school, they realize it is something I can do. Engineering is not something scary.
And what the students had to do is use their problem-solving skills, their engineering design process.
We're building a car that's moved by a DC motor, and our back wheels are too small.
You'd be surprised at how much engineering goes into simply making a DC motor driven vehicle go straight for 3 meters.
I learned that everything has to be like exactly how it should be, or else they'll be like, it'll turn, it'll not work.
And even your best plans inside of your head do not equal reality.
You guys remember we have different services.
I gave them a few suggestions. From there, they ran with it, and their car was successful. One of the big things that I'm working towards is making sure that there isn't a big divide between what they're learning in school and the workplace. I want to make sure that they understand that the things they're learning in here are tied to industry skills. Ben from Pseudolithic has been instrumental in connecting me with different industry leaders and mentors and bringing them into the classroom.
The premise is that classrooms like Mr. Miller's are already inspired by and informed by and equipped for industry relevant skills. This semester we had 5 industry mentors, and the purpose of the CHIP program is to give every student the opportunity for an industry experience analogous to an internship in the classroom before they graduate.
The project was to have the students build a semiconductor package.
Mr. Miller's class actually teaches a lot of the problem-solving skills when it comes to real physical manufacturing. I even posed the problem as, here's my microchip, I need to get electricity in and out. I don't know what the package is going to look like. That is your job to solve, right? I made them act like engineers right away on day 1. I heard from some of the students that was really shocking to them and also really fun.
And so my 6th period students built this with mentorship with Ben and Demis and worked on this project for like 2.5 months.
I chose nanoengineering from a major at UCSD because I was, already interested in engineering. Nano appealed to me a lot, and I thought that was, the one of, if not the most interesting major for me to choose.
Part of what I'm trying to do, and both of us have put a lot of effort into doing in terms of increasing visibility into these industries, is to make students realize that they can do something as complex as semiconductor manufacturing. I think most people have no idea that a high schooler can actually make something that works with microchips and semiconductors. These students now know that's possible. The real goal is to give local people a way into one of the 40 semiconductor companies in our area.
Judah Torres is a perfect example. He was with me for my first year teaching here at Carpi. He then was hired to work in the machine shop the summer he graduated from Carpi.
Like, I didn't even know that Rincon exists. I didn't even know that there's this huge shop that's producing all these products with big contracts. I didn't know that was happening right in our backyard, like literally 3 minutes away from my house.
He took the skills he learned in this class, leveraged them to get a job in a machine shop. Those machine shop jobs, he then used those skills as a university student in his Cal Poly classes.
The ag mechanics class definitely put me a leg up on all the other engineers here, because they've never really worked with their hands. And so when I'm in my electrical class and we're wiring up a whole wall to have like light switches, I knew how to do that already. I knew that like all the little ins and outs of like, well, you're actually not supposed to do that. And he's like, how did you know that? So I took a class in high school.
He's really kind of paving the way, showing the light on the vision that I have, which is like, you learn in here, you get connected with industry, you get jobs, and then you apply those skills both in the workplace and in university.
I genuinely enjoy mentoring students and seeing them solve problems and getting excited with them as a mentor and just as an engineer. Like, it's fun to do this stuff. And then tactically, we can see that we are bringing awareness of these industry opportunities and specifically our company. Because now as a mentor, as a hiring manager, I have high confidence, justifiable confidence that they'll do well, because I've already worked with them in the classroom.
I know a lot of other high schools don't have the equipment that's in this shop. So being exposed to it early on really helps out in being to practice our machining skills and CADing and everything like that. And also just having fun with it too.
Edwin and Sophia are seniors, and they are both going to university next year. Edwin is going to UC Berkeley for civil engineering, and Sophia is going to Cal Poly Pomona for aerospace engineering.
When a student like Sophia, who took full advantage of the internship program, I think it gives her a lot of confidence. We know that women are outnumbered in the engineering program, so yeah, I have great hopes for her. She's gonna shine.
I personally really enjoy helping other students. Like, I love when they come up to us and just ask for help, like, hey, can you help me on how to operate this machine?
Even like asking you how did you do it in previous year, and then kind of giving your intel on like what you thought of it your year and what you thought worked that year. So I think that's something that's pretty cool. You know, you kind of get to like pass like knowledge down, I guess.
They have been instrumental in helping me develop this program. And then just now what you guys saw was the final day of catapult launching, where we collected the data and then they were assessed based on their accuracy and precision. This team 3D printed their base and the arm. All this was modeled in Onshape CAD and also put into assembly. The students additionally had to create engineering prints or drawings of their catapults. So it was a complete package.
You guys give a round of applause?
I think what we have been able to do with our CT program here at Carpinteria is that we've been able to take what our community needs, what our students want, and then develop a program that meets those needs. This is a very expensive area to live in. It's very challenging. There's a lot of economic stress. And I think by giving the students the opportunity to go out into the field that they really enjoy, such as engineering, working at a machine shop, going to a foreign institution, and then come back as an architect or an engineer or whatever they choose. And a lot of them always want to come back. I mean, this is a place where 1 million people come every year to Carpinteria. Why don't we work to keep our students here?
I kind of knew what engineering was, but I was expecting it to be more like doing like math and stuff. When I came in here, I realized that like you could just think of it and then you could just make it.
It seems like the school district is really trying to meet kids where they're at, which I think especially for young kids, for them to see there is a place where they could learn and grow, yes, in their brains, but also to be hands-on. I think that really makes a big difference for a lot of kids.
Mr. Miller had not seen the video, so.
It's fantastic.
Ben and Demis have been instrumental in supporting this initiative. And again, all this is done with an array of partners from Santa Rosa City College, UCSB, to the NanoFab. Mr. Miller took a training at the Nano Lab at UCSB. So he was there. He knows what it's being asked. A lot of our students are able to leave Carpinteria High School with the skills that they can get a job, a livable wage for our community, and they can only advance by the degrees that they earn. And again, 5-10 years from now, the idea is to see a lot of our students here in Carpinteria with their families, being productive taxpayers, members of our community, and having their families attend our schools. And again, a lot of it is due to the fact that we have great support from our partners, and we have a great teacher who's willing to take on a program like this. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here to showcase the video. And I want the community to know that we should be very proud of our high school. It's a reflection of a great community that we are, and also the fact that you are supporting our programs at Carpinteria High School, even during difficult times of budget cuts. But again, the idea is to have a great impact in our community in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So thank you.
Well,
Do you have any questions?
Well, I'd just like to commend you all, Kurt, you especially, for creating an environment that is so inviting for our students, number one, but is such a great showcase that we have these organizations that want to come here and really put the spotlight on it, because there are other programs around, but they've chosen yours. I'm speaking all of you, yours, to highlight, and I think that's a testament to your dedication, your enthusiasm, your passion. So I really, want to commend you for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just want to comment. I work in this field. I work. I run 2 manufacturing companies, machine shops, and I work with half a dozen other ones between like San Luis Obispo and Ventura. And I can tell you, when we get together for our Vistage meetings, all of us say there's not enough skill set, no labor. So I think you're spot on what your goals are. I know, of half a dozen people right now, they're hiring machinists, programmers, CAD, quality inspection, different things. So this is a field, an area needs, and I'm excited to see some of our kids, really be able to take some of these jobs. And I think the first step in doing that is being able to walk in day one and have a skill set that the next person doesn't. So I'm really excited for this, and I hope to be able to support it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you asked me what a machinist was in high school, I would have just totally blank. I would not have been able to tell you that. And so it's fun just exposing
Someone
these
who runs
students.
machines.
What's that?
Someone who runs machines, right? That's what
Yeah.
you would have said as a high school student.
I don't know, something. Yeah, cars. I would not have been able to tell you. So it's fun just exposing students to industries. Again, machining is an old industry, but still, I took AP everything and couldn't tell you how things were made. So it's really important that all range of students get exposed to these types of industries.
I think this is a great model that we can hopefully replicate for other other industries. Agriculture being one.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that if we were able to model a construction technology program, maybe parallel that with the ag, that you would have huge amounts of participation. You'd have huge community interest and support, because there's a complete shortage of skilled tradesmen, and these are jobs that our students can step right out of high school, maybe go to a couple years of trade school to really hone their skill or work as an apprentice, and they can get a really well-paying job and have a lifelong skill that they're going to be able to use forever.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we can take our students to the Ventura Fairground Trades Day again.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Students learned that the labor's union gets paid $48 an hour starting. And so that definitely set off a few light bulbs.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Say one other thing. The program, through the leadership of Mr. Miller and also the support of Mr. Sabanes, he's been very instrumental in working with a lot of our partners, getting the field trips, setting up the internships in the summer. This is now, and the reason they produced these videos was because we are now becoming the model program to follow in through our partnerships. So we should be very proud of our students. A lot of the students that Mr. Miller noted who graduated gained their skills because of his leadership and his opportunity to work with a lot of our partners.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Can I say one?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to thank Mr. Cornejo and Mr. Sobanes and Ms. Newman at the high school for really supporting me. I have a lot of crazy, wild ideas, and they're pretty much nothing but yeses, which is very motivating for me to come to work every day, just knowing that I can experiment and tinker and try new things. So I really, really, really appreciate admin at Carpi and all of you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. Yeah, thank you. Fantastic. Okay, we'll move on to item F and board policies. Any public comment on item F, board policies? Okay, first item is board policy and administrative regulation 1420, volunteer assistance. Board is asked to approve the first reading of the updated BP and AR volunteer assistance policy to align with law and list of characteristics for which harassment of a volunteer is prohibited. Additionally, policy updated to reflect new law SB 848, which provides that a volunteer who is over the age of 18, who interacts with students outside the immediate supervision and control of student, parent, guardian, or school employee is a mandated reporter and subject to the requirements of child abuse and neglect reporting, including but not limited to notification, training, and reporting requirements. This regulation is in conjunction with the accompanying board policy. Can I get a motion there?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Does this policy apply to just volunteers, or are there others that it applies to?
Volunteers, coaches, and board members.
Board members. Okay. Alrighty.
This is that new training
Yes.
specifically.
This is-
Okay. Thank you.
To identify behaviors and other things that could be perceived as abusive.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can I get a motion? We get a motion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So our second board policy is BP 4100, certificated personnel. First reading, the board is asked to approve the first reading of the updated BP 4100 certificated personnel. The policy is being updated for consistency as appropriate with board policy and AR 4200 classified personnel and board policy 4300 administrative and supervisory personnel, including material related to professional development, the filing of certificated positions, clearly defined and communicated duties, responsibilities and expectations for each certificated position, and employee responsibilities and performance evaluations. Additionally, policy updated to delete language regarding the availability and administration of policies, rules, and regulations related to certificated personnel as being unnecessary due to its very general nature. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 3 is board policy 4111, 4211, and 4311, recruitment and selection first reading. We're being asked to approve the first reading of the updated BP 4111, 4211, 4311. The proposed revisions to board policy updated the district's recruitment and hiring practices to ensure compliance with current law and best practices. The policy clarifies the recruitment and selection processes will be conducted in accordance with applicable laws, board policy, and collective bargaining agreements while promoting fairness, equity, and equal employment opportunity. The updates also emphasize recruiting a diverse pool of qualified applicants, broadly disseminating job announcements, and maintaining hiring practices that identify candidates who best meet district needs. Policy also incorporates the requirement of Senate Bill 848, which establishes new employment reference check requirements related to reports of egregious misconduct for both certificated and classified applicants. Additionally, the policy reflects new legal requirements prohibiting districts from requiring a driver's license for a position unless driving is an essential function of the job or no comparable alternative means of transportation would meet the district operational needs. These revisions ensure the district's hiring practices remain legally compliant, equitable, and aligned with current California law. Can I get a motion, please?
All motion to approve board policy BP 4111, 4211, 4311.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right. Item 4 is Administrative Regulation AR 4112, Appointment and Conditions of Employment. Being asked to approve the first reading of AR 4112, Appointment and Conditions of Employment. The proposed revisions to the Administrative Regulation update the district's hiring and employment practices to reflect current legal requirements and recent court decisions. The regulation incorporates guidance from the California case law regarding the district's responsibility for the hiring, retention, and supervision of employees, emphasizing the importance of thorough employment screening and oversight to help protect student safety. The regulation also incorporates the requirement of Senate Bill 848, which establishes new employment reference check procedures for certificated applicants and requires districts to disclose certain reports of egregious misconduct. to prospective educational employers as required by law. In addition, the regulation reflects Senate Bill 521, which disqualifies individuals convicted of specified public integrity felonies from public employment for 5 years. These updates ensure the district hiring practices remain legally compliant, strengthen employee screening practices, and promote a safe educational environment. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Sorry, I just want a point of clarity. So is this saying, I read it a few times, that you as an administrator and us as the board have to document that in an employee's file? And then
What?
that wording?
Document what?
That
Egregious.
egregious, sorry, conduct?
In the file of an employee, there would be documentation if egregious misconduct occurred.
Okay.
Then what this Senate bill requires is that we need to report that, if that's in the file, to a prospective employee. Employer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proactively, or should they contact us?
No, we're required, when we hire anyone, we're required to contact
Got it.
their prior employer.
Okay.
That's what we're required to do
Thank you for clarifying.
before we hire.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Item 5 is administrative regulation and Exhibit 4111, or 4112.5, 4212.5, and 4312.5, criminal record check, first reading. We're being asked to approve the first reading of the updated AR and Exhibit 4112.5, 4212.5, 4312.5. The proposed revisions to the administrative regulation update the district's employment practices to reflect recent changes to state law and ensure compliance with current legal requirements. The regulations incorporate Senate Bill 521, which establishes a 5-year disqualification period from public employment for certain public employees convicted of specified felony offenses involving public corruption, misuse of public funds, or related misconduct arising from official duties. The regulation also incorporates the requirements of Senate Bill 848, which establishes new employment reference check procedures for certificated and classified applicants involving reports of egregious misconduct. These requirements include obtaining information from prior educational employers regarding credible complaints, substantiated investigations, or disciplinary actions related to egregious misconduct, and disclosing such reports to prospective educational employers when required by law. These updates strengthen the district's hiring practices, promote student safety, and ensure compliance with evolving state requirements. The exhibit updated to align with Department of Justice's current employee statement form conditions for release of criminal offender record information. Can I get a motion there?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item G, business operation facilities. Do we have any public comment on item G, business operation facilities?
All right, thank you. On this evening's warrants, you'll find approximately $80,000 more misappropriated dollars defending the behavior, which multiple judicial bodies, to include the Santa Barbara Superior Court, State Public Employee Relations Board, and several different state arbitrators, have already clarified is unlawful. While one very well-paid superintendent secretary either failed to include or was directed not to include any reference to the state PERB's recent decision pertaining to case number LACE 6743E, the district could not scrub that reference from either of the warrants provided this evening, or the public record, or the deleterious impact on district students and families. Earlier this evening, Mr. Schaefer assumed that the absence of willing school board candidates speaks to the community's confidence in the board's performance and how they invest public dollars on the very warrants before us this evening. How very self-serving and misguided your assumptions are, Mr. Schaefer, and you know what they say about assumptions. When sharing the extraordinary expenses contained on this and previous warrants with potential school board candidates, we heard a variety of reasons why community members were not interested in running for a board seat none of which cited confidence in the board's current performance. Those we spoke with declined the opportunity, primarily citing the desire not to be associated with warrants like these or with the behavior and culture of the current school board and superintendent. So let's not fool ourselves about your poorly informed assumptions on the extraordinary lack of interest and participation working with the highest levels of district decision-making. I mentioned the community's interest in participation because the only way these officials could continue throwing another $80,000 defending their unlawful behavior, like they have and will continue doing this evening, is because of the community's disinterest and unwillingness to get involved. While these and future warrants reflect even more expenditures going to the law firm Fagan, Friedman, and Fullfrost LLP, district officials and community members should remember the district's legal record, reflected by citations and warrants like those that will be approved this evening, and how they add up. In this case, they add up to millions of dollars misappropriated from the established mission of the district, providing the maximum volume of high-quality programs like one we saw this evening, and opportunities to students and families of the district. $10,000 here, $29,000 there, $40,000 this time, and however much you wish to squander next time, all at the cost of students and families of the district because the community is not paying attention, not because you have their confidence. Thank you.
Okay, move on to warrants. The board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of June 5th through August 6th in the amount of $4,786,094.31. Warrants are issued once a week on Thursdays. Report format shows check number, check date, payee, brief account description, payment comment, and check amount. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve the warrants.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, move on to item 2, gifts, grants, and donations. First item is a donation from Mac Brown Excavating to the Carpinteria High School Future Farmers of America Club in the amount of $10,000. Can I get a motion there?
I'll move to approve with gratitude.
I'll second. Thank you so much.
Yeah, big thanks to the Brown and Isaac families there. That's fantastic support. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B is a donation from the Lions Club through the CEF to the High School Future Farmers of America Club in the amount of $500. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve the donation from, the Lions Club.
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you, Lions Club. All in favor?
Aye.
Item C is a donation from the Lions through CEF to the High School Cheer Club in the amount of $500. Get a motion there.
I'll motion to approve the donation from the Lions Club to our cheer team. Thank you so much.
And I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you again, Lions. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 3 is a purchase from Bay Alarm of additional security cameras at school sites. Board is asked to approve the purchase and installation from Bay Alarm for additional cameras at Aliso, Canalino, the middle school, and the high school to enhance campus safety and security. The cost of $54,652 plus tax will be paid for with general funds. $231 per month will be added to our Bay Alarm contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, this is for new cameras or replacing old cameras?
New cameras.
New cameras, okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 4 is the approval of a playground planning committee for Aliso and Canalino. We're being asked to approve formation of 2 planning committees, one for Aliso and one for Canalino. The committees will be led by Brett Weiberg, Principal Aliso, and Luis Quintero, Principal of Canalino, respectively. In June, the district's insurance carrier completed a required annual playground safety inspections at both schools, and both reports found that the existing structures, playground structures, which are close to 30 years old or more than 30 years old in some cases, have experienced significant deterioration and recommended permanent replacement. Any immediate safety concerns will be addressed through necessary repairs and component replacements until replacement can occur. So we're being asked to approve this playground planning committee. Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, move on to item H, Measure U. Any comment on Measure U items? Okay, can I get a Measure U update by Jason?
Yes, so tonight we will be reviewing the Measure U update as of June 30th, 2026. With that, I will just advance to our first slide. So on this slide here, we actually have basically a 10-year history of how Measure U bond funds have been spent. Some of the expenditures on this slide go back to the 15-16 fiscal year, so there was quite some history with regards to spending these funds. Now, on the left-hand side, you'll see the various site projects that Measure U bond funds have been spent for, but I think I'll just go down 1, 2, or 3 of them. Now, we still have a couple remaining bond projects. One is at the high school and one is at the middle school. So if we look at the high school, if we go over to the total allocations for the projects, you'll see that the allocation is about $39.5 million. But through June 30th, 2026, we've spent about 32.3. So that difference is what you're seeing in the far right-hand column of about $7.2 million. So that $7.2 million is still available for that site for future projects. Right beneath the high school, you will see that CMS is also one of the sites that still has remaining bond projects for it. The total allocation is about 9.7. Through June 30th, 2026, at that site, we've spent about $7 million. So the difference you're seeing on the far right-hand side, which is about $2.6 million. So that $2.6 million is in Measure U still available for projects at CMS. Now, right below CMS, you'll see Aliso Elementary. That's our only active project we have at this time. So that's the reason that you're seeing the total allocation about $17.3 million. Expenditures through June 30th of about 11.6, but right in the next column, current obligations, you'll see a current obligation amount of about $5.6 million. So at this point, that's what we have basically obligated to finish up the Aliso TKK kindergarten project. So that's that one. Now, all the projects below Aliso, Canalino, Summerlin, CHS Success Center, Main School, District Office, all those projects have been completed, and that's the reason that the board's not seeing anything in the current obligation column or the Measure U column, because all those projects have been completed starting at least a couple years ago. And in the middle of the slide, we'll see a title entitled Project Administration. You'll notice for technology, there's about $19,000 available for technology out of Measure U. And if we look at the grand total, about halfway down the slide there, we'll see about $9.9 million. So that $9.9 million represents what we still have in Measure U available for future projects. Now, at the bottom of this slide, we have a graph entitled Available Funding, which basically highlights what additional funds we have available for future projects. So in Measure U, just like I mentioned a minute ago, we have about $9.9 million available in Measure U. Right below that, you'll see Fund 21. So we still have funds available of about $5.7 million from the sale of Toro Canyon a few years ago. Below that, you'll see Fund 25, which is our developer fee fund. In that fund, we have about $2.5 million. So when we add up those different funds, the 9.9, the 5.7, and the 2.4, 2.5, that totals about $18.2 million. So that $18.2 million represents what we have here in the district for future projects that the board wants to entertain. So that's kind of an overview. Now behind that slide, so this next slide here, each site has one of these slides. Now what this slide represents, in the middle you'll see is a listing of completed projects. So here at the high school, you'll see all the projects that have been completed with Measure U funds. But what I want to draw your attention to is at the very top of that slide, you'll see something entitled Future Projects. And the first one there is the outdoor theater / amphitheater. So the allocation for that project is about $7.2 million. Basically, we haven't spent anything for that. And so that's the reason that you're seeing that $7.2 million still available from Measure U. So that's the reason you're seeing the 7.2 sitting in that far right-hand column. So that's the only outstanding project at the high school, and that's why I'm bringing the board's attention to that. Now, if we go to the next slide, which is for the middle school.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Is that 7.2 part of that 9.9?
correct it is. Yes, yes. So jumping back to slide 4, which is entitled the middle school. Once again, the format is similar. You'll see kind of in the middle left-hand side the completed projects that have been done with Measure U funds. But at the top left-hand side, you'll see future projects. And the future project at the middle school is the MPR modernization. So the allocation for that was about $2.6 million. Once again, you won't see any expenditures or any current obligations for that. So that $2.6 million is still available out of Measure U funds for the completion of that project at that site. And once again, that's the only future project that is still slated to be completed at this time at the middle school. So if we go to the next slide, which is Aliso. Once again, it's a similar format. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a listing of the completed projects with Measure U funds at Aliso. But at the top left, you'll see the active projects I mentioned. And the only active project we have at Aliso is the TKK wing. And so through June 30th, we've spent about $2.3 million on that project. We have current obligations because, as we know, we have a current project at that site of about $5.6 million. And so the reason you're not seeing anything in Measure U is because the Measure U funds are currently obligated for that project, and that's why it's sitting in the current obligations column. And that's the only active project we have at Aliso. The next slide is entitled Canalino, and it's a similar format. You'll see all the completed projects at Canalino. You'll notice at the top left, active projects. There's nothing there. Our last project was the Learning Center, which was completed. So that's the reason you're not seeing any additional active projects, because all the projects there are finished. So that top line is blank. So there are no future bond funds available for projects at that site because the bond projects at that site have been completed. The next slide is for Summerland. Once again, we have a listing of the projects completed at Summerland. There are no active projects there, and so that's the reason that the board is not seeing anything in the current obligations column or the Measure U column. Once again, because there are no active projects there, there are no projects slated to be completed there in the future. This next slide, slide 10, is entitled the Student Success Center, formerly Rincon High. Once again, the projects at this are listed there. They are completed. There are no future projects slated at that site, and that's the reason the board is seeing blanks basically in the Measure U column, because there are no Measure U funds set aside for future projects at this site. The next slide is Main School, and once again, it's a similar story. There are no active projects at that site. On the left-hand side, we can see the projects that have been completed for this site. We currently have no current obligations, and we currently don't have any Measure U funds available for projects at that site because there are no projects. This slide here is entitled District Office, and once again, this is basically the same. We don't have any active projects at this site, so there are no Measure U bond funds available set aside for the district office. On this last slide entitled Future Projects, you'll see that the bond fund available balance, which we saw on the first slide, is at $18.2 million. Then, as I mentioned before, there are a couple remaining bond projects. One is at the middle school for the MPR modernization, and we have an estimated cost there from 2016, so it's somewhat outdated. So I would estimate that that number is relatively, well, probably significantly lower, or excuse me, if we were to revise that number would increase considerably, but in 2016, that's what that project was estimated to cost, $3.4 million. And at the high school, we have one remaining project, which is the amphitheater, And in 2025, that project was estimated to cost approximately $8.5 million. So those two projects would come to about 11.9. If we subtract that from what's available, the 18, that would leave us with about $6.3 million available for future projects. And with that, I would just like to once again revisit the very first slide in this presentation, because I think it kind of does the best job of showing what bond funds are available and where they are currently sitting. And once again, that's in the bottom right-hand side of this slide. It shows how much is available in Measure U. Once again, how much is available from Fund 21, from Fund 25, and that $18.2 million is what the district has available for future projects. And with that, that concludes my presentation. I'd like to ask the board if they have any questions.
Any questions for Jason?
Not for Jason. Thank you for the numbers. So where do we stand on some of these items, the amphitheater and the middle school? I know we've been pretty busy with Aliso School. We expect that to wrap up probably by the end of next year.
Yes.
Somewhere
Next year we'll complete Aliso, and then at that time, the board then will make some decisions about the remaining funds, because Aliso is not done with expending money.
Right.
In that we've not purchased furniture for the classrooms yet. So we'll have the final amount that's spent for Aliso's project next year. It'll be completed. And then with the remaining funds, you'll make decisions about the high school theater, swimming pool, and the modernization of the middle school, or if there's other projects.
Right, okay.
So it'll be like what I want to say is you'll be making, based on 2027 needs, you'll be making decisions about how to spend the remaining Measure U money based on current needs.
Right, and so since it's in these buckets already for the high school, we can move that money around as we
Based on our
to
needs.
other sites if we
Yes.
see a need show up at another school or.
Yes, it'll be the board's decision how the remaining Measure U funds are spent.
Right,
Up until now, this is what the votes were,
right,
but that can always change.
right, okay.
Yeah.
And we've done feasibility studies on the amphitheater and the pool. and
Yeah,
so
yeah, we have. So we have,
numbers to date and, yep,
Mhm.
okay.
yes.
Are the new playground structures coming out of these funds, or are those coming out of something else?
The new playground structures, we're estimating that it'll be about $1 million. And the reason why we make that estimate is that Catalino, at this point, in a school district, you were required to have a separate playground for TK and K classrooms, and Catalino does not. It has not been established that there's two separate playgrounds. So the estimates are, and these are just estimates, about $750 for Catalino and about $350 or $300 to $350 for Aliso. So you're looking at 1.1 or million. And we can use the developer fees, Fund 25 capital facilities, of which we have 2.4. However, we do have the opportunity to submit a grant to a foundation to secure matching funds. So our work in this year is to submit a grant for $500,000 to match the playground expenses. But yes, we do have funding available, and yes, we would use it out of the capital facilities.
Okay, any other questions? Great. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to item 2, the approval of a professional services agreement with Kruger Benson Ziemer for Aliso Elementary TK kindergarten classroom furniture selection. And the scope of the agreement includes meeting with district representatives, selecting furniture consistent with district standards, developing furniture layouts, working with the furniture dealership, and providing clarification during installation. The fee proposal for furniture selection services is $23,840 and will be paid for with Measure U funds. Can I get a motion there?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions?
So this is basically their commission on the sale of the furniture?
That's what I was wondering. I mean, how much different is the furniture going to be than it has been in other classrooms?
It'll be similar, but for every school site, we hired a designer to design the classroom space because all the spaces are different, but it will be similar furniture.
Yeah. And that's not included in the architecture
No.
design? Is that
No.
how the classroom layout will work?
Yes, no, it's not included in the architecture
all right.
design.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Move on to item I, personnel. Any public comment on item I, personnel?
Alrighty, so this evening, the personnel report cites 5 new hires, 1 retirement, and 8 resignations. The majority of those resignations being district faculty members who have found greener pastures. We asked the school board and the community, have any of you given consideration to why these 8 resignations have occurred and why they follow on the heels of several more from last spring and early summer? Could there be a connection to that data point which has been so difficult to explain away, contained in the district's most recent audit? The audit recently released which confirmed the district once again violated Ed Code by failing to invest the required minimum portion of its budget on teacher and support staff compensation. Could the district's unwillingness to properly invest the bare minimum as required by Ed Code have an impact on the hypertransiency and turnover of highly qualified teachers who are unwilling to continue their employment with CUSD? Could the district's decision to underinvest in teachers and support staff be approximately $6 million in the last 2 years, again clearly cited in the district's audit, be driving talented young teachers away and undermining CUSD's ability to deliver consistently high-quality programs across the entire system? Could the unlawful and extraordinary expensive administrative distractions as represented by case number LACE 6743E, still being pursued by the district officials before us, be influencing the consistently high volume of employee turnover that undermines the relationships and performance of so many CUSD students? Could the district's decision to underinvest in teachers and support staff by approximately $6 million in the last 2 years, while increasing administrative resources and providing a 4% salary increase to administrators, be impacting the turnover cited on this evening's personnel report? Could the SARC data shared in June, which confirmed that our administrators are paid well above the state average, while teachers and support staff are paid well below the state average, have an impact on the transiency of talent in the district? This would be a great time to engage in a robust conversation and inquiry on these trends and how they impact our programs, our students, and our families. Please, I yield the rest of my time for that conversation. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to personnel summary. We're being asked to approve the following personnel items: 5 assignments, 1 retirement, and 8 resignations. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve the personnel summary.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, future agenda items. Any public comment on future agenda items?
First, the union would like to say how pleased it is that Mr. Schaefer recognizes he stands corrected on future agenda items, that this is an opportunity for public comment, one that he shut down on multiple occasions earlier in the spring and summer. May the following items be placed on the board agenda. Please include an analysis of the board's arbitrary changes to public speaking opportunities, which have undermined the quality of our district officials' decision-making. CUSD's arbitrary reduction in public comment opportunities can be quantified. On a monthly basis, CUSD reduced the speaking time available for any single member of the public to just 9.5% of the minutes available in 2024. First, you removed a community member's opportunity to cede speaking minutes to another speaker. You then further reduced public comment when limiting speakers to comment on each larger agenda category versus each agenda item, regardless of how many important agenda items are contained in a single category. Then you reduced public comment and input by half when board members voted to reduce regularly scheduled board meetings to just one a month. And then we should add that you reduce the effectiveness of public comments when yourselves show up at an attendance rate. I think it's 25% of the meetings missed by Ms. Alcaraz, 38% of the meetings missed by Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Bridgeford, and Ms. Diamond. And if that wasn't enough to discourage and stifle public input, board members still routinely interrupt, threaten, and remove speakers by force and trample speakers' legally protected speech and First Amendment rights, as you yourself demonstrated quite clearly, Mr. Schaefer. So let's look into that at a future board meeting, please. Please also look into the current legal action going on, arbitration, alas, that the district has been compelled to arbitrate after trying to dodge for 2.5 years, related to state legislation AB 119, where the district has decided for the last 2.5 years under Ms. Rigby not to include the union in new employee orientations, which is the law. So we've had to fight for that in the courts, and we will, and it is, alas, arriving at the courts, although you have enjoyed 3 years of obstructing that process and our right to speak with new employees upon their arrival. Please also include an analysis of the $6 million in the last 2 years of underfunding and underinvesting in teachers and support staff. It is an ed code obligation that you do that. It's not something you just announce in an audit and then you refuse to talk about. It's having an enormous impact on the teaching and learning in the district, on the programs we can provide. We saw a great program today. You're investing in that program. We know the PUSH project, you're investing in that program.
Thank you for your comments.
But those are just
Thank
two.
you
That
for
should be
your
happening
comments.
across the board
Thank
in the
you,
district.
Mr. Hostrom.
And
Please
thank
sit
you,
down.
Mr. Schaefer.
Please
Yes.
sit down. Okay, anything for the board calendar, Monica? No? Any board announcements? No?
I'm excited to get my kid back to school.
We're excited.
Yeah, we're excited to get school started, yeah.
Yes.
Great, all right, well, thank you, everybody. I think we're adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.